It's been raining here all week. The fish are playing with the ripples of the raindrops as they hit the top of the water. The pool teases me as we wait for the last few days of winter to pass and welcome in the warmer days with the calling in of spring. As the garden relishes the rain, I decide to escape the cold and talk to you from the warmth of my healing room today. As an energy guide, I talk about frequency a lot, and I hear a lot of people talk about raising your frequency. But what does that actually mean, and how do we do that in our everyday life? So today I'd like to chat to you about what I believe raising your frequency looks like, why it's important, and how we do this in our everyday life. Hi, my name's Karina Stevens, and welcome to this channel. If you're new here, then I'll take a moment to introduce myself. I am an energy guide, and I practice energy healing, and I'm also a modern day alchemist. And I just want to unpack what a modern day alchemist means, because a lot of people don't understand it. Well, it's new. I kind of made it up. But I love the definition, and I just want to read it here. It's glasses. It's a union with higher self, baked into the core practice of self-actualization, realizing your capacity for limitless transformation. Let me say that again. Union with higher self, baked into the core practice of self-actualization, realizing your capacity for limitless transformation. And to me, limitless transformation happens simply by changing your frequency. So, as an energy guide, as an energy healer, I work with frequency and vibration. And if I want to change anything in my life, I just change my energy. And I guess as a child, I've always felt people's energies. I just didn't know that it was their energy, and I didn't know that what they were feeling wasn't my fault. And so, not understanding this, I guess, caused me to have a lot of self esteem problems, self worth problems, and growing up with that kind of mindset, I very much shut down as much as I could, um, or just blocked those feelings. So came out of my body and blocked those feelings that I was happening that weren't even my feelings. I was picking up on other people's feelings. So, um, just a little story. I was raised in a part of Victoria that was called the ghetto. And so it was rough. It was full of housing commission houses, and there was a road, a main street that divided the ghetto into middle class suburbia. And I tell the story of the broken white line in the middle of the road. And when I would walk anywhere, I would cross the road, because for me, crossing that broken white line meant that I was somehow worth more, that I was somehow transformed into middle class suburbia where the girls had really nice hair and they wore really nice clothes and didn't have to go to the secondhand shop to get their school uniforms. And it meant that I was a better person, which is totally untrue. I know that now, but at the time, that's what I thought I needed to do to just feel like I was worth more. And so yeah, just growing up like that, the one thing the one thing that saved me from, like, just not going down the same path of my friends and getting pregnant at 15 or getting into drugs or anything like that. The one thing I believe was my grandmother's prayers. And I had this voice inside me my whole life that kept saying, there's more to life, you know, there's more to life, there's another way. And that voice kept me going. And so in the ghetto, if you wanted anything, there were kind of two ways to get it. You could steal it or hustle for it. And I was too chicken shit to steal. So I worked my butt off for anything that I needed or wanted. I didn't have any money, so I got my first job at 12 years old, in my uncle's fruit and veggie shop. And I would work 3 jobs or 4 jobs growing up the whole time. And that energy, it makes you it gives you a good work ethic. Like, yeah, you're going to work hard and you're going to get what you want because you worked hard. But it also led me to burnout and fatigue and adrenal fatigue. And so I guess to move forward growing up, I went into health and wellness and um, went into lots of different um, jobs and different industries and had different careers because I love to learn and I love to grow and I was very curious. And but everything was a struggle. Nothing ever came easy. I always had to hustle and I always had to, like, force my way through. And I had that belief that if it is to be, it is up to me. And suck it up, princess was my motto. And like when you have that belief, then guess what? Life's going to be hard and you're going to have to force your way through everything. And so, fast forward like many years, and I have a luxury retreat and spa that I started with my husband and in 2011. And after 8 months of opening, we got an award for best day spa in Australasia, and that was massive, like huge, full on. And my way of celebrating was, what's next? Okay, what's next? And what was next for me was full on adrenal fatigue. And my body just had been going so long and so fast on that very young energy, and my adrenals were cut down. And so I spent the next 6 months laying down on my back, trying to get my energy back because I couldn't work. I couldn't even walk to our letterbox without just being so tired and so overwhelmed. And it's really ironic because I was living in this beautiful, massive Balinese retreat, and I had a really successful business and I had staff working for me, and my bedroom looked out over a lake. And in the morning, the sun would rise over the lake and the birds would be chirping, and it would be a beautiful day. And I would just pull the doona over my head and say, no, I can't do this. And yeah, I look back, it was hard. But for me, through that healing journey, I learned so much about energy, about how energy works, physical energy, like our bodies, our energy systems, the energy of food, what we put into our bodies, what we put on our bodies, the spiritual side of energy, like everything is just energy. So as I was learning about what foods to eat and what foods not to eat, how to transform my body, how to repair my adrenal system, how to repair my body, I was realizing that I was changing frequency. And I knew this because of when I was a kid, and it kind of like I was starting to learn, okay, if how can I read frequency? How can I understand what frequency is and what vibration is? And so this became like just my mindset. This is what I dove into, to learning all about how this works. And as I was changing everything and repairing my body, I was also upgrading my frequency. And so this this was massive. Like I used to call myself a ghetto alchemist. So I would turn the trash of my life into my treasure. And that's what I did because of that angel on my shoulder. There's more to life, there's more to life. I was always like, how can I do this better? How can I make it better? How can I be a better person? And I got so wrapped up in like personal development and learning how to manifest and make things happen and not be a victim to where I grew up and how I grew up, and to change my thoughts and my beliefs about my body and myself. And after I'd healed, I wrote a book called The Pace of Grace. And this was about my healing and coming through that journey and finding that there is a different energy to life. You don't have to push, push, push. You can come back and you can step back and you can tap into a flow and a rhythm where life kind of takes over, and you trust that life has your back and you trust the divine order of things. And so you can take the hands off the wheel for a while and just, what I call, go with the pace of grace. It's that effortlessness and that ease and that flow. And so that's what I learned to do. And that's raising your frequency. That's changing your vibration. Just that mindset, that tapping into that different energy system. I had just raised my vibration from very 3D to 5D. And obviously, I didn't stay there. I was learning how to stay there. But that's kind of what we're doing now with this energy now that's on Earth. We're learning to change our frequency and our vibration and raise it so that we change our mindset, we change our perception. We start to maybe trust that life has our backs, that there is a different way of doing things, that we can not let our past dictate our self-worth or our circumstances. And so as I wrote the book and was moving into just a different, I guess, life, a different vibration, there's a definite rising of the feminine, a rising of that receiving. And I feel like it's calling us to tap into that, to come back into balance with our yang and our yin, and to not be so push. There's so much uncertainty out there. There's so much fear and anxiety, and I don't watch mainstream media, but if you do, you're getting hit with all these fear stories. And maybe just stop that. Stop jumping onto the news all the time and sit back and tap into that different flow of life. And you do that by stopping, coming into our heart space, saying, I am in my heart space, and taking some deep breaths. So that breath, slowing down that breathing, and then breathing out slower. That's just instantly changed our nervous system. So tapping in, so taking the breath, getting in our heart space, and then grounding down. So we can be out of our bodies. We can be so out of our bodies. So it's a matter of calling back parts of ourselves that are still maybe stuck in the past, or over at the shopping center where you were this morning, or in that fight that you had with your kids when you were getting them to school, or whatever. Calling back all parts of ourselves, saying, I call back all parts of myself. And then anchoring that energy down, feeling that, feeling the energy go through your feet. And then just sitting in that for a moment. And just saying, I trust. I trust in divine spirit. I trust that life has my back. And breathe those words in. And then the feminine energy is receiving. It's opening up to receiving all that life has for you. Instead of saying, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. Okay, we do have to do things in our day, but there has to be a moment in time. There has to be a part of your day where you sit back and you just receive then. And whether that's in a 5-minute meditation, whether that's at the end of the day in the bath, whether that's when you're laying down in bed and you've closed your eyes and you just have the time to come into that space, there has to be a day, a time where you allow that to be part of your being. Because otherwise your nervous system is just going to get tapped. It's just going to get fried. And our nervous system is getting assaulted all the time. And so by that slowing down and that grounding and that allowing, you can start to raise your frequency. And that's all it takes. That's all it takes to raise your frequency. And to go back from that very dense physical 3D vibration to 5D and beyond, to a acceptance, a joy, a bliss, the higher emotions that we feel when we're in that place. So we have to make it a part of our day to give that gift to ourselves, and then to really cultivate the feminine, to cultivate that goddess energy, if you like. Like, give yourself a couple of hours or an hour or 20 minutes just to dance around the room, or to have a bath and use your bath salts and your oils and everything like that. And put on something that makes you feel sexy. Put on your makeup, do your hair, like go out for lunch, treat yourself and go out for lunch, or like just do something that gets you in your feminine. You can't help but be in a different vibration. So I think that's all that I wanted to say for this video. And if you need any help at all, I offer one-on-one frequency activations online. So check out my website at karinastevens.com. And my book, The Pace of Grace, is also there too. So if you're struggling, if you're stressed out, if you're overwhelmed, if you have adrenal fatigue, grab a copy of that book, because it's my healing journey throughout that time in my life. And I wish I had have had that kind of natural support at my fingertips as well. So thank you for being here and, yeah, sticking around, and I'll see you next time. Bye.